You will not be dying tonight. By my hand.
Did you hire a hitman? Is that...
You ask so many questions.
I know.
That's the other reason I'm kicking him out. Wait. Hey y'all, I'm AJ Reyes.
And I'm Timothy Dailey-Valdes.
And this is Can I Bother You? Better than the very first one. Well, let's just do it again.
Okay.
And this is Can I Bother You? Oh, yeah, look at us. We nailed it.
That time.
Cool. About it. Into it.
Synergy.
You can't just say whatever you want.
What?
This isn't your podcast.
It's not.
Wow. Well, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, the end for Timothy has come. Or the end has come for Timothy? Not in a sexual way. Well, I don't know what Timothy and the end have got going on. Anyway, the point
is... If anything, it just sounds like I'm dying.
I wasn't sure what vibe I wanted, so I wanted to give everyone a little bit of everything.
Oh yeah, a little sex vibe, a little death vibe.
That's all I need. But anyway, yes, this is Timothy's last episode with us. Aw, Timothy's leaving. Oh, I'm gonna be so sad. Oh, you remember that time? Oh, I remember that. Do you remember when he... Oh, I remember that too. Oh.
One of my favorite bits that AJ has, running recurring bits, is when he plays a little crowd of people. I love it.
Thank you. That's the first time I haven't had to do it breathy and airy because they're whispering. You know,
yeah. Oh my God, what's gonna happen?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That would have felt weird. It's it's Timothy's last episode, and you're like, oh, that's so sad. Oh, we're gonna miss him. Oh. Oh, and also it's the anniversary or birthday. It's Can I Bother You's almost birthday. Tomorrow, the 27th of August, is Can I Bother You's 1-year birthday. So goodbye, Timothy. Hello, second year of life for Can I Bother You? Last week, I talked a little bit about what'll happen with Can I Bother You in the future, and I will remind you of that later in the episode. But right now, we're here for Timothy.
Oh, well, that's nice.
And that's enough. So, so this episode, we're just going to be sort of reminiscing and just sort of thinking about what the past year has been like and talking about some of our favorite moments. And we have important things to discuss. 1, merch. And 2, we need to answer the questions that everyone has been dying to know the answers to. My 2 truths and a lie, and your 2 lies and a truth. Should we just do that first?
Sure.
Cool, yay. Okay, so in our first solo social media posts, way back before the show even started airing, when we were introducing ourselves to the world, in my social media post, I included 2 truths and a lie. And... that was way back when, and then I never gave an answer. And then a few weeks ago, I don't remember how long ago now, we did our second game episode, Can I Play With You? Is that what we're calling that?
Yes, I believe so. Okay. Something like that.
And Can I Play With You Part 2, we reminded y'all of them, and today we're revealing the answers. So, one more time, as a reminder, mine were... I had to sign an NDA before I hooked up with a B-list celebrity. The second one is, I've worked with a Tony winner. And the last one is, I've grazed the hand of an Olympian. So, 2 of those are true and 1 of them is a lie. Which do you think the lie is? Pause the episode and think about it, and I'll wait here until you hit play. And now you've hit play. Thank you for coming back. So, my answer, the lie, and I know it's hard to tell, because wow, NDA with a B-list celebrity? Very believable. I probably left it out of the Can I Get You episodes because I signed an NDA and worked with a Tony winner. AJ is pretty big in the theater world, y'all. So, totally possible that he's been up there with all the big wigs. Are Tony winners big wigs? The one I met didn't wear a wig. Are they big wigs?
Or the one that you maybe didn't meet. Who knows?
Oh my. Did I slip up? Oh no. And then the last one, I've grazed the hand of an Olympian. It was the smoothest stone I'd ever touched. Anyway, the B-list celebrity one's the lie. I have not signed an NDA to hook up with a B-list celebrity. But I have worked with a Tony winner, and I have grazed the hand of an Olympian. Should I tell the stories?
Yeah, I feel like you
Okay,
should.
I guess so. Yeah, that makes all the sense, right? So the Tony winner, he won a Tony for Book of Mormon. I should have looked up what he like. I can't remember if he did the orchestration for it. I need to go
That
double check.
sounds
I'm
right.
basically positive that's what it was, but let me go double check real quick. His name is Larry Hotchman. Oh, okay. See, I thought so. He has won one Tony Award for Best Orchestrations, The Book of Mormon, 2011, and it looks like he's been nominated for a Tony 6 times. And he also has multiple Emmy Awards, which I didn't realize there were multiples of them. I knew he'd won an Emmy. And also one Tony Award, in case you missed it. A Drama Desk Award, or a couple of them, and then quite a few Drama Desk nominations also. But anyway, I stage managed an original show of his that he and his writing partner premiered here in Austin. So I've worked with a Tony winner. That was a thing. I think that's the end of the story, basically. I mean, it's a months-long process, so I'm not going to go through the whole journey of the show. Oh, you can stream that show, actually. The show was called Perfect Life. There's a website called streamingmusicals.com, and Perfect Life, the show that I stage managed with a Tony winner, is there. So, if you want to check that out, check that out. I'm not in it, but my very talented friends are. And then the other true one was I've grazed the hand of an Olympian. I met, oh my god, which one did I meet? Serena,
right?
I met Serena Williams. I totally blanked for a second. When I was working at Lucy in Disguise, the costume shop here in Austin, we got a lot of celebrities, so I met a lot of celebrities there, but I believe she's the only Olympian I've met that I remember and or to my knowledge. But I was at the jewelry counter, so I was bringing people up, checking people out, so she was there. And of course, I mean, understandably, everyone wanted to go talk to her, so I didn't want to bother her. I was just, doing my job. I was like, hey, how are you? Do you find everything? Thank you so much for coming. So, in the process of handing her items or getting items from her, we grazed hands. And I was like, oh my god. And then I immediately dropped dead. And it was a huge inconvenience for her. She never came back.
I don't think I've ever asked you this, and in retrospect, I don't know why. But do you know, like, what event she was, or was she just browsing?
Like what she was shopping for?
Yeah.
I don't think she was shopping for an event. I think she was just there. Yeah. I think Lucy in Disguise is one of the places where if you come to Austin, people are going to tell you to go visit it. So I'd imagine that she was there as a tourist. But she did buy plenty. She was very generous with her.
What did she buy?
The only thing I remember for sure is there was this denim jacket that we all loved, and she bought it. I think it had sort of like graffiti art on the back, and it had some stitching and patches around it. Around the jacket, not around the art. I mean, there was some there, but I remember stuff on the arms. I just remember that we all loved that jacket, and I think we've seen it on her social media. I could be making that up. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure we have. But anyway, those are my two truths, and I'm very proud of them. I made them all myself. Okay, Timothy.
Okay. I was very briefly one of the Kids Bop kids until I aged out. I once had a pet fish who died under mysterious circumstances. And my middle name is Columbo, after my mother's favorite TV detective.
Ooh, intrigue. Okay, so go ahead and pause it and think about which one you think it might be. We'll wait. Welcome back. Thank you for unpausing. Timothy, spill the tea.
Okay, so...
Oh, wait, sorry. Did we remind them that yours were 2 lies and a truth, so only one of them's the truth? Well, I don't think...
Maybe we didn't.
I can't remember if we did. But anyway, only one of them was the truth, and 2 of them were lies. So, sorry about that. Go ahead and pause again and think about it again. We'll wait. Welcome back. Okay. Timothy?
So I did have a fish die under mysterious circumstances. I wrote
what
this.
happened? How could it have been mysterious? What happened to that poor fish? Did Timothy murder it?
I appreciate you, AJ. I made this post before we talked about this on the podcast, but I have told this story. So eagle-eared listeners will remember that I had a fish. Well, I had 2 fish, and one of them appeared to have been behind the death of the other one. I found one of my fish lying dead on my floor when I got home from school one day. And the other fish looked very fash. The other fash looked very smog.
Stop trying to make Fash happen. It's not going to happen.
Anyway, so I think one of my fish murdered the other fish. My middle name is Connor, not Columbo. I don't know how my mother feels about Columbo at all. And yeah, I've never been affiliated with Kids Bop in any way. And I think by the time it started, I would have been too old for it anyway, but I'm not actually sure. But anyway, there's your fun Timothy fact for the moment.
Yay! We hope that y'all are excited to finally know the truth and the lies.
Yes. And now you know both of us a little bit better than you did before.
Yeah. Real quick before we move on to more other things. I stand by it. Because I made a Mean Girls reference when I said stop trying to make Fash happen. At the end of last week's episode, I started to talk about this, and I don't remember the context of it now. Oh yeah, we were talking about names that we wanted for this podcast that you were listening to, Can I Bother You? When we were talking about names, the name that I really wanted was You Can't Sit With Us. And I really wanted that name. And that week that we were trying to choose a name for the podcast, that week, a show called You Can Sit With Us premiered. And it's the Try Wives, the Try Guys from YouTube. It's their wives, the podcast that they have, which I listen to weekly. It's very good. And I mean, also, they did it nicely, because it's called You Can Sit With Us, because the whole thing is like, yeah, come sit with us. And they've got great vibes, it's all great and wonderful, but I wanted You Can't Sit With Us. And in theory, we could have done it, but whatever. There also might be other podcasts called You Can't Sit With Us. That's just the only one I remember, because it's the one I listen to. It's okay. We're called Can I Bother You, and it all worked out. Timothy's leaving, so it's all fine. And the last piece of business before we move on to the actual episode is back when we did our 25th episode, we had a giveaway. And so you might remember from that, we have Can I Bother You stickers. And they're real cute. Yeah, it's our cover art, and we have plenty of them. So if you would like one, oh, you know what, Timothy, we didn't talk about this. How many, are we giving people one? Are we giving them 2, 3? Are we letting them request their number?
I think we can let them request the number unless you have an objection to that.
I think we should at least have a max.
Yeah. What do you think about, like, 5?
5 works for me. Yeah, 5 is fine. It feels like a lot, but I'm also like, is anyone going to ask for 5?
I don't think they would necessarily.
Okay.
But we can make it 3.
I feel like 3 makes me feel better.
Okay.
Okay. Then I guess let's do 3. Are we going to keep the conversation in, or?
I don't really know. I thought it was kind of funny.
Okay, then I guess we'll keep that conversation in. That'll relate to something later in the episode, but we'll get there.
Ooh, I don't know what it is. So
it's not that exciting. This is a bad episode. It's not that exciting. Did I say bad? I meant sad.
Oh, well, that's nicer, I guess. But I don't want anybody to be sad.
Well, you don't control how people feel.
Well, that's true.
One thing at a time. We're talking about stickers.
No one with a sticker can be sad.
So, that's true. Real facts. So, if you need a reason to be happy, we'll post a photo of the stickers again to remind you. So head over to our social media. It's our album art in a circular sticker, 3 inches in diameter. And we are giving them away. So 1, 2, or 3, let us know how many you want. 3 is the limit, though, because you're greedy. You're greedy. So, yeah, just let us know how many you want. Email us at botherus@canibotheryu.com or slide into our DMs on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at canibotheryu. And let us know how many you would like, up to 3, and let us know where to send them. No charge at all. It's on us. If you want to send us some money on our Ko-fi, we will gladly accept it there, but that is not necessary. We are just happy that you are here with us and want to look at our faces. Yes. Or stick our faces to things. Yes. Preferably not like restroom stalls or anything, though. I don't want to be watching people in there.
For a good time. For a good time, listen to Can I Bother You?
Wow. Yeah, you know what? Never mind. Go ahead. Go with the bathroom stall. Follow your heart. But anyway, yeah. Again, no charge. If you want to give us something, that's great. But we're happy to have you.
Maximum of 3, minimum of 0.
Yes. Do not ask us for negative stickers, please. I'm so sick of giving out negative stickers.
How do you do it? What do you do?
I don't even want to talk about it. I'm so sick of it, Timothy.
Wow.
God.
There's so much behind the scenes stuff on this podcast that I don't even know about.
Speaking of, now that we're moving on in the episode, this is a great segue. What are some behind the scenes things that maybe they don't know that we would like to tell them? That's what I was referencing a second ago when I was saying, are we keeping this conversation in? Because there are times when we cut out conversations.
It's true.
But it's usually because they're like housekeeping.
Yeah, most of the time. Or because we're fighting. We really don't get along off set.
That's the real reason. Can someone let the tabloids know, please?
I'm very difficult to work with, y'all. I think I'm kidding. I hope I'm kidding.
AJ's upset that Timothy makes more than him.
Neither of it. No.
And the money's gone to Timothy's head, so that's why he's so difficult to work with.
Who is paying me? This is news to me.
Well, read the tabloid and you'll find out. Okay, Timothy?
Which tabloid?
Yes. Now, behind the scenes things that the listeners don't know. I revealed one, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. I talked about how there's one single episode of Can I Bother You, where one half of the episode, my dialogue is totally like redone. It's all basically, I don't know if you can call it ADR when you're not on camera, but I just replaced my audio because it was so bad and it wasn't savable. But I'm trying not to specify which half, if it's like the first half or the second half. One half was totally good and totally usable, but the other half was so bad that I just redid it completely, and so I just had to act out how I sounded in the conversation with Timothy. So I revealed that a few weeks ago. That's one of the secrets we've been holding. That I've already given up before. What are some other Can I Bother You behind the secrets?
I often have to piece together sentences from like what would be if it was written down, completely different paragraphs.
Mm.
And sometimes it's totally noticeable because I'm not the best at doing it. But sometimes I end up with it sounding seamless and I'm real proud of myself. And I'm like, I don't even 100% understand how I got it to be this smooth, but I'm not complaining.
Nice.
But I can't think of a specific example. I know there are a couple in the most recent episode that I edited. What else? I mean, anybody who's dealt with social media knows that our social media is a lot more like curated than it might like I feel like we try to cultivate a very chill vibe. And so like you especially, AJ, because you do basically all of the social media except the stuff that has a little green heart after it. And
oh, I do.
So I think that if somebody doesn't know a whole lot about how social media for like projects and artists and things like that works, I have no idea how this sentence is working anyway. But I think you do a really good job. But mostly you do a really good job of making it look effortless and candid and everything, but so much work goes into it.
Thank you. Yes.
And it's much more curated and cultivated than I think some people might know. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, if people do know anything about social media management, they probably do already know that. So
right. Yeah,
it just depends on where you listener are in terms of where, like, you know.
Yeah. If you're not trying to like run a thing or try to get traction or an audience for a thing, you might not need to like schedule your social media posts or anything like that. So maybe you don't think about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we schedule all our social media posts at least a couple days in advance, if not farther. Yeah, I took charge of the social media because I very much enjoy it. I like SEO and analytics. I'm super into all that. So,
and he's really good at it, y'all.
Thank you. It's true. And it's because it's true. Thank you. It's true. I am very good at it. That's not my fault that it's true. It just is. And it's one of those things, though, because social media is very fickle. And even if you understand how the analytics work, that doesn't mean that you're going to get picked up by the algorithm.
Right.
A lot of our posts do really well with views, but they don't always get the heart reacts or anything.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, well, people are seeing it at least. So it's like, that's half the battle.
Mm-hmm.
And we have definitely gained listeners from social media. Mm-hmm. People who have zero idea who we are at all found us on social media and listen to us now. So, hey, y'all. Hello, strangers.
Hi, guys and gals.
And some of them have hit on us. Thank you. Very flattering. Well, they hit on me. Sorry.
I'm not surprised.
It's because I'm the one we chose to over-sexualize. So.
we?
You know I was taking one for the team. What, was I going to try to talk you into it?
I'm just saying I was not involved in that choice. That's all I'm saying. Not that I object to it. I'm just saying that I didn't choose that for you.
Okay, Timothy.
I wasn't like, all right, AJ, you gotta sacrifice it. You gotta hustle.
Anyway, and yeah, Timothy and I did our best to split as many things about the podcast down the middle. So Timothy edits the episodes, and he does a very well job.
Thank you, AJ.
Is that English? Did I do it right? Did I do the English?
Everybody knew what you meant, and that's the point of language.
I love that. Yeah, and then I took over the social media. Timothy writes his own posts, and then I hashtag and schedule them. And he also chooses the pictures for his own posts. And then, like, the audiogram, I write, and Timothy will agree to what I said and sometimes make tweaks if we decide that something needs to look different. Normally, it's just that I spell the word wrong, and he tries to change it without telling me about it. And I have to be like, Timothy, I've told you, if I did something wrong, I need you to tell me, because I'm never going to learn. And he's like, I'm going to feel bad if you feel bad. And I'm like, Timothy, you want me to look bad by being like an idiot, spelling things wrong? And then he's like, oh, sorry. That's too many behind the secrets.
And AJ does the same for me. I do the episode descriptions for the podcatchers, and AJ does the same for me, giving me feedback and making corrections and stuff.
Y'all let him know when they're funny, because he's always worried that they're not funny enough. And I'm like, it's just because they're not my funny. My funny is a different kind of funny.
That's true.
You are funny. It's just that yours is more like gentle and often punny, which is just as wonderful. And then mine is more like, yo, bitch. So
we have different sensibilities, but I like to think they're complementary. They fit together well.
It's nice that you think that. I think that it's why people have listened. I hope that's why you listen, listeners. But for whatever reason you choose to listen, I'm glad that that is your reason.
Yeah, me too.
I mentioned it in the episode last week how the thing we wanted most was that we want y'all to feel like you're hanging out with your friends. So I hope that we did that for you. And even if we didn't, I'm still glad you were here.
Yes. We tried.
Right. And if you didn't feel it, that's on you. I think I made a similar joke like that last week. Oh God, I just recycle the same material over and over again. Oh my goodness. It's a good thing you're leaving so I can finally try something fresh on someone. Oh, do you want to tell us? No, I think we already did that, right? I was going to ask if you wanted to talk a little more about why you're leaving, but you basically already said it all, right?
I mean, I feel like I addressed a fair amount of it, but I can briefly go over it again. And I did say in the episode about goodbyes that I would go into more detail in this episode, which I can try to do. Mm-hmm. I could try to keep my word for once.
This is your last chance to do it, so.
But yeah, I'm not a podcaster. I've never really been one. And I feel so bad saying this because I've enjoyed my time doing this and I feel like I've learned so much, but I'm not good at it. I'm just not. I don't have the required skill set to do this well. Mm-hmm. And so that's the main reason that I'm stepping aside. And also, it really is like a part-time job. Even on weeks when we don't record, we really do work part-time job hours, both of us, on this show.
Yeah.
I don't have the mental and emotional and physical even energy. And I'm not saying nobody else could, because obviously there are people who have multiple podcasts, and AJ is like does the most all the time. And he's great. But
AJ's extra as hell and he's getting it done.
No, I didn't mean it like that. I just mean that you have so much going on in your life creatively and professionally, and you balance it all. And I admire so much about your work ethic, but we've talked about it time and time again on the podcast. Like, we just function differently. Yeah. And I need a lot more stillness, a lot more downtime, just a lot more time to even do things. Like something that'll take AJ X amount of time might take me twice or 3 times as long. And that's just the way that I am.
Yeah.
And like, so since we've started this podcast, I haven't gotten basically any writing done. There's just so many unaddressed things in my life right now. And I'm not like blaming the podcast for that. I feel like I'm rambling.
You kind of are, but that's okay.
But I'm just saying that I took a step back. I realized that there were a lot of things in my life that I'm neglecting for something that I do really enjoy, and that I do find fulfillments of certain things in myself doing. I really want to make it clear that I'm happy with our decision to do the show, and I am glad that we have done it and glad that I've been able to be a part of it. But just being honest with myself and with you, AJ, and with everybody, it's never been my passion. It's definitely never been my talent. It's something that I like, but I feel like it's taking up too much of my everything in
Yeah.
this at this point in my life. It's just too much for me right now, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm framing it completely wrong, but I feel like someone out there will understand, so that's good enough for me.
I think that basically everyone understands. Your brain is just telling you no one does. I was thinking about it earlier when you were saying how you want to make it clear that, like, you're happy you did it. Like, you don't want it to sound like you regret doing it, because that's the human thing that we all do. We're all constantly trying to clarify. It's not that I hate this thing, but it is over for me. It's not that I have anything against it at all, but it does need to end now. And I mean, like, that's just what things are. Things just end. That's how things have to happen. Things don't last forever.
That's true.
It's like innately part of being human. You, as a human, will end someday, so it makes sense that everything you do also has to end at some point. So, I mean, that's what it is. We're at an ending.
I really appreciate you bringing my death into this.
I'm not gonna not do it. I'm not gonna just not. It's right there. Death is always right there.
It's true. It's true.
But yeah, no, I don't think you're bad at this. I've definitely enjoyed doing this with you. If I thought you were bad at it, I would have been like, you know what, I think that maybe I'm done with the podcast, and I would have ended it for both of our sakes. But yeah, I also agree with you that this probably isn't for you. You're a very gifted and skilled writer, and like, that is so obviously for you that it's easy to see when something isn't for you, to me anyway. Someone who, like, has known you for years. So, I ain't tripping.
Thank you, AJ. That means a lot to me.
Whatever. What do you feel like you've learned from the show?
I feel like I've learned a lot about taking audience feedback into account, because as someone who is mostly focused on writing, I don't always get that much of it. I mean, relatively speaking, compared to other art forms and compared to the relationship that we've built with our listeners. And so sort of learning to address that and like weigh that in creative decision making and branding even. I feel like I've learned a ton about branding. Not that I only see glimpses of it when we're working together on those things, because like we've said, you're the expert and you handle so much of that. But yeah, audience building, branding, and like image management, I guess. Again, it's not to say I'm good at any of these things now, but I feel like I've seen and experienced so much of them. Some of it firsthand, most of it secondhand. I think in certain ways it's helped me implement certain time management strategies. My ADHD makes time management hell. And, you know, I've learned a lot about another thing I'm still not great at, but I feel like I can put like Audacity on my resume now.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I at least know how to use it. I hate that it takes as much time as it does, but I actually don't hate the sound editing itself. I do hate leveling and all that stuff. I'm not good at that, and I never will be. It seems so abstract to me. Even though it's not really. It's all science. And so much of it is numbers. Like, it's all very concrete, but it feels very abstract to me. And I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And so I can't even tell you how grateful I am, AJ, that you started doing that.
I started it way too late. So Timothy was doing like all of the audio editing and mixing up until, I don't know, somewhere around like episode the late 40s. And so I really should have started doing it sooner, but that's okay.
I so appreciated it because every episode sounds so much better now.
Thank you. I'm often still unhappy with it, but that's just because I'm me. Also, like, Audacity is a free DAW, digital audio workstation. It's free, and you can edit your audio in it. And it's supposed to be laid out for beginners, and it is. It is really simplistic. It is relatively easy to understand. You do have to do some Googling, especially if you're totally new. But I personally think that it's easier for me to edit on it with the knowledge I already have. I feel like if I was coming into this with no knowledge at all, I think it would be harder.
I feel like they make the basics, like the bare bones basics, really easy. And then anything you want to do beyond that is just not intuitive at all.
Yeah.
And I'm not complaining because, like you said, it is free. I appreciate that it exists as a resource.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, so I do feel like I've learned quite a bit about that. I still don't understand microphones. They make no sense to me. I feel like I cannot regulate my voice to a satisfactory degree.
Yeah. So, in an attempt to make the podcasting as easy on Timothy as possible, I've tried to tell him as little as possible. And so I do all the audio engineering, and I've never fully explained to him how any of that works, or I've never enforced proper mic techniques. But I'm doing the leveling, so I'm like, whatever, I'll just fix it later.
I can't justify why I do anything that I do.
It's because you don't think about it.
I really,
I mean, like, not as an insult, but just like you don't think about it.
No, it's just true.
Yeah, you have to like consciously think. It took me forever to learn to remember the microphone is here. You have to stand here to be heard by it.
Yeah. And I've never had good control over my voice, like just at all. It was a little better when I was actively acting because I tried and like I've forgotten everything I ever knew. But like my volume's all over the place. I have like zero breath control. It's an issue. It's a thing.
Yeah.
So you're welcome for leaving. I guess is my main point here.
Thank you. The truth is that I'm not just accepting of him leaving. I'm ecstatic. I'm not giving away any of the stickers. I'm too excited. I'm going to wear them all.
You're going to make a Lady Gaga-esque suit of stickers.
Yes. First, I'm going to put on the meat dress, and then I'll put the stickers on the meat.
Oh, God.
Like, what are you hoping that the audience learned or, like, got from this? Other than, you know, what I've already said about us wanting to hang out with them, basically.
I hope that we have provided, and I know you will continue to provide, comfort. I think, or I hope that just having two people to just auditorially hang out with has been, I don't want to say comforting again, but has been like a source of happiness or even just like chill vibes. Like this isn't, you asked what I hope they had learned. I hope that we have empowered in some way our listeners to love themselves more or in a new way. I just hope that we've made some small part of their days or their lives or just even moments. I'm just saying words now. Just a little bit brighter even. I hope that we can be that for people and that we have been that for people. That's my main thing.
I know at least 2 people have told me something along those lines. So, know that you at least did that for 2 people.
AJ. I didn't do it alone.
Also, I feel like maybe I didn't finish explaining in the first place how little I tried to tell Timothy. I just didn't want him to get all up in his head, so I didn't want to overwhelm him with too many things, and then I just was like, don't even tell him, there's no point now. And now that he's leaving, there's really no point.
I honestly really appreciate that. There were even some things, I can't remember what exactly, but like audio things especially, that you were like, oh, have I showed you how to do this? Or like, oh, I need to show you how to do this. And I would just be kind of like, but I really don't want to. I don't even know what the phrase I need is. It's not like I actively don't want to have that knowledge in my brain, but it's just like, this isn't something I'm actively interested in, and it's challenging to me in a way that makes me uncomfortable, and I don't.
Well, there was one day when I said something like that I wanted to teach you how to do something with the audio, and I cannot remember what you said, but the sentiment was basically you were never planning to learn that, or like you didn't want to learn that or something. So I don't know if that was the first moment. That was definitely a moment when I was like, I really should just be doing it. Like, he doesn't want to do it, and that's okay. You don't need to want to do it. So I'm like, I should just be doing it myself. But I do want to ask, what are some moments that stand out to you from the show that you really enjoyed, or like episodes or something?
I really liked the games episodes. I really have enjoyed the Can I Date You episodes. I definitely have favorite episodes and episodes that I still get entertained while listening to, and I'm like, oh God, we're so funny. and then I feel guilty for thinking that. Of course. I'm really proud of our sex ed episode. It was very candid and it was very raw in a way. I liked how honest we were, and I feel like hopefully that episode helped somebody, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in general, I'm really proud of how honest we've been, especially you, because we all know that I'm like, let me frame this in like the neatest, nicest little package.
Your Timothy impression is like spot on.
But anyway, especially you, but also us in conversation with each other. I admire how honest we've been able to be with our listeners in general. I don't know if I'm doing a really good job of staying on topic with this question. I do apologize.
Oh, that's fine. I forgot what I asked you. Oh, no, you did not. But you still said interesting things. So that's always been my main thing. As long as it's going to be interesting.
The question was essentially like, do I have favorite moments, right?
Yeah, favorite moments or favorite episodes, yeah.
Yeah.
I skipped the word favorite, but yeah. I said moments that stand out to you or something like that.
Yeah, and just like all the laughs.
Okay, well, I think you've answered the question. I think we're done now.
Do you have any favorite moments from our time on the show together?
No, this has been awful. I'll talk about this more later. But anyway, I've been re-listening to every single episode for future content stuff. And so I started pulling quotes and making lists and stuff. And I was thinking about making a list of every time that I've been creepy on the episode. Because there have been so many times where I've been like, I'm watching you. Or like just things like that. Like, I can see you. But anyway, I think if I make a supercut of like every time I've been creepy, or I was not misogynistic enough on this show, because I love a supercut of me being misogynistic, because those are my favorite jokes. They're so cheap and stupid and like awful, and honestly maybe they should be retired, but that's kind of why I like them so much, because I'm like, what an idiot. But also because I make them in a clever way. I wish I could remember what it was, but I just heard one. I think it was on the wedding episode, and we were talking about if people should ask for like their significant other's parents' permission, and you were like, do you think that someone should ask for their
blessing?
Yeah, whatever. Permission, I think, is specifically what we're talking about. We did mention the difference between blessing and permission, but anyway, you asked me, and I paused, and I was like, yes, because women are property. And then I just went off on nothing, and Timothy was like, I don't know why I didn't see this coming. When I was listening to it, I was like, I bet most people didn't see it coming, so like that's why I like those jokes, because you don't expect them.
Yeah.
You don't expect me to be so awful. If I'm mean to Timothy, you know that's coming, but like...
I don't know. It always catches me off guard.
It does. Even like, I can make a supercut of Timothy death threats. You may or may not be getting an oft-mentioned Emma supercut. Dear God. A Simpsons jar cut. But,
and my favorite thing to do, I don't even do this on purpose, but sometimes I'll just slip a Simpsons reference in without acknowledging it or mentioning it or anything.
And I know that, and it bothers me because I know I've missed a bunch of them because
There have been a couple times where I've done it accidentally. Like, I haven't even known that I made a Simpsons reference. There was one episode where I was like, I don't even know what I'm referencing right now. And then when I was doing the show notes, I was like, oh, it's a Simpsons reference.
I was just about to mention that too. I was thinking about it. Timothy also does the show notes. We haven't specified that in this episode yet. And so if you've enjoyed the show notes, you can thank Timothy for that. He goes through and finds all the references we make for the most part. And I will not be doing that in the future. Just so you know. Okay, I guess since we're here talking about it now, I'll talk again about what I'm doing with Can I Bother You? I mentioned it in last week's episode, but in case you missed it or in case you forgot, the future of Can I Bother You is looking like this. AJ is going to continue having friendly conversations as if he's chumming around with an old pal, except he'll be doing it mostly with strangers. And I'm planning on just having conversations. I'm not calling them interviews, in case anyone's wondering. I don't want to call them interviews because that's not how I feel about it. I really just want to try to get to know someone. I will mostly be pulling people who are either doing jobs that I find interesting or are doing advocacy that I find interesting. I did this last week too. I said that I find interesting, and it makes it sound like there's advocacy that I don't think is interesting. Well, I guess men's rights advocates, I don't find that interesting at all, so I guess that they do exist, huh? Alright, great. Good, we're all on the same page. If we're being real though, there will probably be a heavy emphasis on people in entertainment, so it is what it is. But anyway, I will be doing all of that, and I will be starting that in January of 2022. Because I just want to take a few months to breathe and get my YouTube channel back up and running again, and then start planning Can I Bother You? Timothy will still be on the Can I Bother You social media at least until December, so he won't be posting his own posts like he has been. I will take over all the posting, but if you comment and you want to talk to him, he will be around, so he can reply to you. And you can also still DM him on Can I Bother You until December, or you can slide into his own personal DMs, which we'll get to in a minute.
And then after that, I'll still be lurking down in the comments just as a listener, just me.
Civilian.
Still haven't come up with like a little cutesy nickname for our listeners.
Yeah, in the very beginning, we talked about it a couple times, and Timothy tried to make Botherinos happen, and I did not rudely shut it down, but I probably didn't politely shut it down either. I made it very clear I was not for it.
Since this is our last opportunity to do this in front of the listeners together,
Okay, what?
can you? We can cut this out if we need to, but can you put into words, or are you willing to put into words what you don't like about it?
I'd be willing if I could.
That's
I think
fair.
it's mostly just that it's too, like, cutesy for me, probably.
I get it.
Like, ugh. I prefer sounds that sound harsh and mean. And Botherinos does not sound harsh or mean. It sounds like a children's birthday party. And that's where I feed. I don't need to think about feeding when we're on the podcast. I'm hungry enough. I'm implying that I prey on the children.
We
like
got it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that was
to
good.
stay youthful and like, okay, cool. I don't want it to sound like I'm feeding the children. Like, oh, here's the birthday cake.
No,
Yeah.
it definitely sounded like you were feeding on the children.
Okay, perf. Love that for me. Okay, great. So anyway, you will get plenty more awful murdery jokes from me in the future in 2022. And in the meantime, Can I Bother You? We'll be active on social media. So we all have something to look forward to.
That's right.
You mentioned earlier about how you enjoyed or liked, I forgot what you said, I wasn't listening, but you said something about how we have been honest on the podcast. How do you feel about the honesty and the vulnerability? Because we've also said some stuff.
Yeah. It's been challenging at times. We've laid a lot of stuff on the table, and just knowing that it's floating out there in cyberspace
Yeah.
for anybody to listen to
Mm-hmm.
is sometimes anxiety inducing for me.
Okay.
But I think that in certain ways, talking with you through all these things has made it somewhat easier to do, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I value that a lot. But it has at times been a struggle. You know, that little voice is in my head, especially when I'm editing. And sometimes I regret having said this thing, and I don't really want strangers to hear it.
Uh-huh.
So I'll edit out a small thing that I said. But for the most part, I try not to do that. One of the things that I really like about this podcast and the way that we do it is that I do feel like we can be real.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that that's part of why people listen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that I think is good. It's something that I think we do well, and that I've said proud too many times. I don't want people to think I have a huge ego about the show.
Oh, that's definitely what they think.
But it is something that I'm proud of us for.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Again, I don't know if I answered your question.
Our vulnerability, yeah, for me too. It's not anxiety inducing for me. There have been times when I'm listening back that I'm like, oh, maybe I should cut that. And then I basically only think it for a second. And I'm like, no, because I have to decide. I'm like, even if I didn't totally explain it the way I'd like to, because it's a human thing where we're like, no, I don't want it to sound wrong. I really need you to understand. And now I'm going to over explain it.
Right.
There are plenty of times where I'll say something and I'm like, oh, that could stand a little more explanation, because without it, it sounds kind of bad. But then I'm like, you said what you said and it's done. Let it go. So there's definitely stuff in the last 56 shows that I'm like, oh, probably should have cut it, maybe, but I didn't, and I'm going to live with it now. And that's why I have talked about it very briefly and in passing, I think 3, maybe 4 times now, counting last week's episode, my childhood and how it was less than ideal, but I've never actually gone into details about it, because I'm totally willing to talk to my friends about that. Like, Timothy knows about my childhood, but like, I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I want to be open. It's really important. I want people to know that there are other people who have these same, sometimes wonderful, sometimes not so wonderful thoughts, and that there are people they can relate to even if they don't feel like they can. I want people to know that. But I do have to keep some things for myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in case you're wondering, I was actually adopted into a very rich family. And the reason why I complain about being poor all the time, including in the ad that runs every single episode, is because I didn't want to be held back into that country club life. And I didn't want my parents making the choices for me. They said that I would go to Harvard or Cambridge, the one in the UK. And I said, no, no, mother, no, father, no, no, I won't. I'm going to be an artist. And they said, well, then you're cut off. And I said, fine. Wait, what? And then it was too late. I had already said fine. So now I'm poor. I guess I did talk about my childhood. Oops.
Oh, dear. AJ, should we make it clear that this is a bit? It's clear, right?
What's a bit?
Never
I was
mind.
adopted into a rich family.
Okay.
And as an artist, I chose to break free and then immediately regretted it. I don't know what bit you are talking about.
You're right.
The only bit here is you. Bitch. I was going for a bitch. I think the only other thing that I have written down that I wanted to mention was that we have never missed an upload or a social media post.
I am very proud of us for that.
I'm very proud of us for that.
Granted, we have not maintained, by we I mostly mean me, have not maintained the timetable that we originally set out for ourselves.
Oh, okay.
Like in terms of having things in batches and things. That's entirely on me. But we have never been a day late with an episode.
Nope.
To be fair, there was one time where I did something wrong and uploaded the wrong episode.
Oh, I forgot about that.
But other than that, and it wasn't like it wasn't ready. It was just like I made a mistake.
Yeah, like it was scheduled on time and everything.
It was just the wrong episode.
Yeah, a episode went up on time.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, I'm pleasantly surprised with us. And yes, proud.
Mm-hmm.
We never missed a deadline.
I was a little concerned about it. Like when we first started, I was like, I hope that this works out. And then it did. Like every week for a year, we got it right. So, shook. Hashtag shook.
Hashtag patted on the back. Hashtag hands shook.
Oh, God.
I don't know.
People are starting to try to shake my hand again, and I'm like, I'm not ready. I will politely smile at you from 6 feet away, thanks. That's unrelated to this episode. No, that's how I'm going to say goodbye to Timothy. We're going to politely smile at each other from 6 feet away. I'm not going to shake her hand. He's over there shaking his head.
I don't expect you to shake my hand.
Good. Not gonna. Just said it.
We're staying friends and everything. We don't really have to do anything like that.
What?
Wait, what part of that elicited the what?
Yes.
It's like the 5th time in these last 2 episodes that you've answered a non-yes or no question with a yes in such a way that it doesn't make sense.
Y'all, I'm slowly trying to teach Timothy how to get out of weird situations. And it's just by doing weird things. It makes everyone go away. That's why I'm alone.
You'll never be alone, and I think that that's one of the core messages of our show.
Sounds like it's time to wrap up.
Okay.
Trying to think of my final words before Timothy says his final words. And I do mean his final words. I told you there was only one way out of this. It was another murder joke. Surprise.
Just like the murder will be.
Something I learned, kind of, I'm trying to get better at working with people. I've mentioned it before in the podcast. I think I said it in the last week's episode. I just tend to go off on my own. Yeah, the apocalypse episode. I was talking about how I'd make someone else the leader because I don't want to lead people. I want to do my own thing. Yeah. And so I tend to work alone. It's for probably too many reasons for me to even try to explain it. But the point is that I just tend to try to work alone. So this was a good experience in trying to work with someone else. And very, very early on, Timothy wanted to include a clip of Harvey Fierstein saying something, and he played it for me, and I was not ready for Harvey's voice at all. If you don't know who that is, his voice is very, very... He sounds like he's a smoker. I don't know if he ever was, but it's very, very gruff and grating, and I was not ready to hear his voice, and suddenly it was there, and I lost my shit, and I was way too harsh and mean at Tim, to Tim. I was just like, no, we're not doing that. That is not going in that. We're not doing this. And immediately I was like, you can't talk to Timothy like that. That's not fair. It's a joint podcast and he had an idea. If you have a problem with it, convey that, but don't be such a bitch. And so I immediately had to be like, I'm sorry, Timothy. I think actually what I said, I think I apologized, just not like that. I was probably like, I'm sorry, Tim. I shouldn't have said that. And Timothy was like, it's okay. And I was like, it's not okay. We're working on this together. It's not okay. I can't talk to you like that. In the tone that I shouldn't have been talking to you. Like in in the same mean tone. I was like, no, I can't talk to you like that, Timothy. No, it's not okay. Which I thought about that at the time too. But that's how I apologize. Angrily. If I don't sound angry when I say I'm sorry to you, it's because I don't mean it. But anyway, so that's the real reason Timothy's leaving, and he's just too nice to say it.
And I waited this long.
Yeah, it's been fun. Thank you for all your hard work, Timothy. Thank you for agreeing to do this at all, because if you hadn't, I never would have started it. And then I probably wouldn't have kept going. Like, if we hadn't already done this, I probably wouldn't be starting the new iteration of it next year, you know? So, thank you for joining me on this.
Thank you for having me.
And there were more things I wanted to say that I thought of earlier, but I can't think of them now, so... Whatever. Give yourself 5 compliments and say they're from me.
Okay.
You can do it off air, though. We don't want to hear it.
I'll do it privately.
Oh, Timothy is still single, so...
That is true.
If they want to get up on it, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Facebook at TCJDV. You can also find me on Instagram at Tomatio88. Yeah. AJ, where can they find you? Are we doing this right now, or were you...
I mean, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at AJRace13. You can also find me on YouTube. I'll be putting more videos up there. But no, we're talking about you, Timothy. And again, you can still find Timothy on the Can I Bother You socials, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Can I Bother You. Again, no original posts from him. I don't want you to be expecting that. But he'll be lurking in the comments until December, and that's when I'm kicking him out, because that's when I'll start ramping up.
My posts were always filler anyway.
Y'all, God, this was something that I mentioned you in the beginning, and then I immediately was like, never mind, do what you want, Timothy. But Instagram posts do better when you show your face in them, and a lot of Timothy's photos don't have his face in them, and I'm like, whatever, Tim.
I compromised. I did way more selfies than I wanted to.
I could tell. I was surprised that you did as many as you did, so thank you. Good job. Those are also all of your posts that have the most likes and stuff, because you've got a good face.
Thanks.
You got a very good face. Timothy's a very attractive person, y'all.
AJ.
Both physically and personality.
AJ, you too.
I know. Personality.
I'm glad that you do know.
Personality. No, I said it right. Personality. Yeah, I did it right. I got it right.
Yeah. You're golden.
He just rolled his eyes.
I'm glad you got that. I did that for you.
It's all for you. I really wish I could remember the other nice things I was going to say about you. Whatever. Anyway.
You've said a lot of nice things already.
There were things that I specifically thought, oh, say that. Now I don't know what it was. It's because I can't retain nice information, y'all. Anyway, let us know how much you're going to miss Tim on our social media, or you can let us know how much you're going to miss Tim in a review on your podcatcher of choice. If you want to rate us 5 stars on Apple, those 5 stars still go to Timothy and I. They will give me a little boost up in the beginning of the reboot of Can I Bother You. I'm calling it a reboot, I've decided, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I was going back and forth about what to call the new Can I Bother You, and I'm just going to call it a reboot. I don't want to do a season 1, season 2 thing, because I don't plan on doing multiple seasons. So I don't want season 1 to be 57 episodes and season 2 to end at 1294 or something, So I'm just calling it a reboot. That's where we are. But yes, 5 stars please if you like us, 5 stars if you hate us, and the review with how you feel about Timothy. And if you want to support us on Ko-fi, Timothy will still be benefiting from that as well until December. And also a reminder, go to our social media, head to Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter at Can I Bother You, and check out the stickers. We'll post photos of them, and let us know if you would like 1, 2, or 3 of them, and where to send them. No charge to you, but again, Ko-fi if you'd like. Okay, I think I covered everything now, and I guess it's time to actually say goodbye. So Timothy, what are any final words that you might have?
I just want to express how grateful I am to you, AJ, for letting me walk on this journey with you. And that sounds so cheesy, but I mean it.
It's okay, I tripped you a lot, so it's fine.
But I really appreciate getting to have this experience with you. And I'm happy we went on this journey together. I need to stop saying journey.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's in the trailer.
It's true. That's true. And listeners, thank you so much for all of your support and feedback. It has meant more than you know to see the positive impact that we've had in your lives. Again, that's probably overstating it, but I do really appreciate all of the kind words and affirmations and just the support that you've given us. It really has meant a lot. I'm just repeating myself at this point. But yes, I appreciate it so much. And yeah, I'm happy that we did this.
Me too.
So thanks for everything.
Yay. Thank you for being a friend.
Travel down the road and back again.
That's enough.
Okay.
Hold on, I had a thought and I wanted to say it and now I don't know what it was. Oh no, it was just the thought that, oh, this is our last episode and we're finishing it now.
I know, it's so weird.
Oh my god, it's so weird. We're not going to do this in 2 Mondays. Oh my god, it's over. Okay. Well, I guess all we do now is say bye?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, y'all.
Well,
I will see y'all in January. And in the meantime, hang out with us on the socials.
yeah, I guess that's it.
Okay.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.